I'm going to get back to your calls in a minute. I have with me Floyd Thompkins. I think that's it. Thompkins. Thompkins. And he is and by the way, my biblical question, did God create sex? Did God create sex? Floyd is a reverend, a community leader, author, and currently the director of the San Francisco Theology Seminary, Center for Innovation in Ministry. He has also served as Dean and Chaplain at Stanford and Princeton University. Floyd, welcome to the show.
Well, it's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
How do you pronounce your last name?
Tompkins.
Tompkins. Well, that's a white name.
No, it's an English name. A lot of us have names that we were given, Tompkins. So
I'm telling you. Well, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on.
Well, great to be here.
How long have you been a reverend?
I'm one of those guys who was a child preacher, and so I became ordained when I was 18. So I would say 30, 40 years.
Amazing. And were you called by God, or did you have to go to school?
Absolutely had called by God. Had the whole thing, heard the voice of God that called me into ministry. My mother attended the Pentecostal church, and my father attended the Baptist church, and so that means I was in church all the time.
Yeah,
right?
That's right. And so you didn't have to go to school to be one there, since you were called.
I was called, and I went to school. You can do both. It's not an either or. So I did both. I went to seminary. I went to undergrad, and then also went to seminary at Princeton Seminary, actually.
Amazing. And so you are now the director of the San Francisco Theological Seminary. What does that mean? How did that happen?
The Center for Innovation in Ministry, that particular part of it, that's the one part that is supposed to be that we're looking about to say, what is God doing now, and how do we extend the ministry to the church? And whether that means all the issues that are happening today, how do we continue to have the church to be relevant and strong and clear? What are the things that are working, and quite frankly, what are the things that are not working? Because I think sometimes when we talk about church growth and we talk about reaching the lost and all of that, we do it in techniques, thinking that it's a technique that's the issue, and sometimes it's the heart of the matter that's the issue.
So innovation in ministry means that you want to see if what God is doing in today's America, is that really working?
Yeah, and also what's the new ways? I mean, we just, like Kaiser Permanente, one of the bigger things that we have right now is that right now, one of the things that we have this whole mental health, people, going into mental health, and also we have pastors. And so pastors and mental health providers have to work together. However, what we said is to Kaiser, we also think that pastors have something to teach to the mental health professionals. Yeah. So that's one of the ways that we're doing it. So it's again, how do we do? That's one of the ways. We're also doing some things, and you mentioned, I heard man-to-man ministry. We have something. We just started a course on man-to-man ministry with a group of folks who are helping men integrate back in the community and get connected back with families.
So, is God doing something new today in today's society? Is He doing something new?
Good question. God, I mean, the Ecclesiastes says there's nothing new under the sun. God's not doing something new. But the circumstances of humanity is sometimes we have to learn new language. Sometimes we have to be able to reach out in new ways. What we're doing right now, that's new. Our grandfathers would have looked at us when we talked about being hundreds of miles away and over the phone and never meeting each other. Yeah. Yet, if we did not take the podcast, we would not be there. So obviously, God is not doing anything new, but the gospel is always relevant in new ways.
What is not working in society today? Give me an example of something that's not working.
Well, what's not working is right now everybody's in their own silos. I mean, one of the things that we understand is that faith and Jesus is about relationships, right? We can have there's no way to talk to people about Jesus and to get them to understand about Jesus by if we don't have a relationship with people. So we have relationships with the left and the right, and then people get so into their relationships, so into their silos that they can't talk to each other.
Yeah.
And so and that's an environment that the gospel's not going to do very well in, because quite frankly, Jesus didn't think about it. The whole of what Jesus did was to be incarnate, came to be in humanity so that he can speak to us and say, I understand you, I hear you, now listen to me. And because he loves us so, we now listen to him and open our hearts to him. If we can't replicate that, then our faith is going to be something that seems that people think are just beating them up rather than asking them to be free.
Are you surprised, as I am, that there are men and women, boys and girls, and some of them are Christians and some are not, are now accepting homosexuality, so-called same-sex marriage, abortion, LGBTQ stuff as normal? Are you surprised that society is promoting evil as though it's good and good as evil?
Yeah, I think we probably disagree on that, because I'm not surprised that people are in dialogue with all those communities. And I'm not surprised that those folks are in our church. And I'm not surprised that
Which folks?
LGBTQ, everybody's in our church, right?
But are you surprised that there are preachers and non-Christians and Christians alike who are accepting those things as normal rather than helping these people to overcome?
Well, I will tell you right now, this is why we're sponsoring a conversation in, I think, 2 weeks called Confronting Conversion Therapy. The fact of the matter is that conversion therapy, the idea of these ministries is that they overcome over the course of time, has not changed anybody. They literally have not changed anybody. And so the notion that somehow we can change someone's sexuality by having them go off on the community or even have these things is just clearly...
But I hear from people all the time who have changed, overcome homosexuality or lesbianness, whatever else. But are you surprised, though, that there are preachers and others who are accepting homosexuality, so-called same-sex marriage, abortion, LGBT as normal? I understand that, except for the radicals, that there are people stuck in those lifestyles and they want to overcome because they know it's wrong. Are you surprised that there are people who are accepting it as normal in today's America?
Yeah, I have to tell you that I have been in this center as an advocate that, in point of fact, God is not condemning people because of those things that you've just talked about. Now, by the way, you put a lot of them in you put them all in one thing. I think that
in the same basket because it's all evil.
Right. Well, I would say let's talk about abortion first.
But first, let me ask though: are you surprised that there are people out there calling themselves Christians and others who are accepting all that, homosexuality, abortion, so-called same-sex marriage, and LGBT, and living together, sex before marriage? Are you surprised that people are accepting evil as normal?
I do not. I am not only not surprised, but I don't think it's all evil either.
Would you ever accept that as normal?
I will accept it as what God has created. Not everything in that list. But I would accept the fact that the people are.
Is there anything apart in that list that you would accept as normal? Being a preacher, you're a reverend. Is there anything would you accept? Abortion or homosexuality or same-sex marriage, LGBT, living together before marriage or having sex before marriage? Would you accept any of that as normal?
I would accept that people's sexuality is something that God gives them, and if they're gay, they're all right.
So you would accept it as normal?
I would accept it as what God has created.
How about as normal?
I don't understand what you mean by normal.
Would you accept those things that I just named off as normal?
Okay. So again, I will say LGBTQ, I would accept it as what God has created and who they are. Absolutely.
Oh, you think God created the lesbians and the homosexuals?
Who else did?
You think God created them?
Who else did?
He created the person, but he didn't create the evil spirit that made a home in them, right?
So you think that every single person who's gay or lesbian is possessed of the spirit and is evil?
But no, I'm asking you, do you? Yes, absolutely, yes.
Yeah. And I would totally disagree with you.
Why? You think God created a spirit that would destroy people rather than giving them love and build them up. You think he
I don't know why
created a destructive spirit in them?
would you say it would destroy people?
Homosexuality destroys. It doesn't build up.
Why do you say it destroys people?
Because they be
I'm a straight male, and I've seen a lot of people who love the Lord and who are gay and who are even ministers who are gay and love the Lord and brought people. I've seen them on the street bringing people. And so I don't understand the fact that you just think that everybody who's that way would be destroyed.
What do you think? Homosexuals and things like that don't love God. Preachers that are homosexuals don't love God. They
Don't love God?
no, they love
They
Satan.
don't love God. How do you know they don't love God?
Because if they love God, they wouldn't be locked in that lifestyle. They would be free from it.
Okay, so you think that so everybody who's got anything that you call sin in their life don't love God?
Right. Because
So
sin is of the father, the devil, and that's
okay,
why
so
Christ
every
came to
sinner
free
doesn't
them.
love God. So every sinner doesn't love God.
Right. No, you can't be a sinner and love God. You love your dad as Satan. That's why God said you must be born again. Isn't
So
that
let me
right?
ask
Isn't
you
that
something.
right?
Yeah, let me ask you
Is
something.
that
So,
right though? Hold on.
yeah, excuse me. Say again.
That's why God said you must be born again, because if you are sinning, you're of your father, the devil. That's why Christ came, that you may be free from sin. Isn't that right?
Christ Christ came that we may be free and fulfilled. I came that you may have life and have it more abundantly.
But isn't that you can't?
But what you define, and you're defining sin. You've decided these things are sin. And then, therefore, if they are not what you want them to be, then they don't love God. Therefore, they're not and therefore they are in fact the folks who God does not love, or you do not love them.
How can a sinner love God? His daddy is Satan. He can't love two
But
gods.
you're defining that as a sin. You're defining homosexuality as sin.
Do you think it's not a sin?
It is not a sin.
What is it?
What is and what?
Homosexuality, if it's not a sin, what is it?
It is what God has created. It is human beings being human beings.
But what is, I know the
You
person,
can use sexuality, and that's why I said I didn't accept everything in that list, right? Because just like any other sexuality, you can misuse it, right? But it is just sexuality. And your question is did God create sex? Remember, that's the question, the biblical question of the day that you ask, right?
what is
So
homosexuality if it's not a sin? You didn't answer that.
it's sexuality.
What does that
believe
mean,
God created-
sexuality? What does that
Do you
mean?
believe that God creates sexuality? You ask the question, therefore, you must believe that there's something called sexuality that God created.
No, I don't know what sexuality is. I'm black and I'm slow. What is sexuality?
I'm black and I'm slow too, bro. Don't go there, okay? That ain't gonna work, okay? We both the same, okay?
What is sexuality?
What? Sexuality is just the way the human beings relate to one another. They also express their love and can be used also to procreate. Although here lately you can also procreate without sexual intercourse. But sexuality is the way in which people connect and express their love. That's a part of the human condition. That's a part of what
Amazing. So you believe that sexuality is love?
Sexuality, I said, is a way. No, I didn't. I want you to at least give me my words, right? Sexuality is a way in which we express love. I did not say it was love.
How do you express love with sexuality?
Well, I think everybody who's in a relationship can say how they express love with a reality. Certainly every married person. Are you married?
No.
Okay. So if you were married and you and your wife had sex, what would you be doing?
Making babies?
You wouldn't be expressing love?
No.
Well, then, so you think that when a married couple has sex, they're not expressing love?
No.
What are they doing? They're just having sex. They're just making babies.
They should be making babies, but they're trying to get a good feeling, so they're looking for.
It's only a feeling.
They are looking for a feeling. But let me ask you, what do you say about the callers who call me from all over the country, and sometimes in Canada and other places, and they say as a result of what I've been putting out there, they have been able to overcome lesbians or homosexuality. They've been free from it. What do you say to those people?
Well, and I get you that. I will never deny someone's experience, but I will tell you right now, the majority of people who said what we know about, and I invite you to the conversation. Look on our sites to Converting. We're going to have a 6-week conversation about this because it's a worldwide phenomenon. 700,000 people have gone through conversion therapy in the last 10 to 15 years, right? Of the 700,000 people, 99% of them said they thought they had changed and it didn't change. So the notion that somehow that can happen is not true. Now, where your callers are from, what their experiences are, is their own experience. I want to get back to this.
Do you believe that they were able to overcome, though?
If this is an interview,
do you believe that them, when they say that they're able to overcome it?
Well, let me ask you a question.
No, answer that first. Do you believe them when they say they were able to overcome it?
I've answered your questions.
You're my guest today. I'll let you ask me a question, but you're my guest. Do you believe them when they say they are able to overcome? Do you believe them?
Sexuality has nothing to do with love.
Floyd.
Do you really believe that?
Yeah, I'll answer that in a minute. But Floyd, do you believe them when they say they are able to overcome it?
I believe that there is no evidence whatsoever. First of all, I believe that when I say believe, I let people have their experiences. If they've overcome it, if they needed to overcome it, and that's what happened, I totally agree with it.
Do you believe it? Do you believe them?
Why would I disbelieve somebody's experience?
Do you believe them when they say they have overcome it?
Not everybody has to, but for those who wanted to, they can. They have.
Do you believe them when they say they have?
Yeah, I mean, I will never tell somebody their experience is wrong because I'm not them.
Do you believe them when they say they have overcome?
I have answered that 3 times, bro.
No, you haven't given me a yes or no yet.
Yes, I have given you an answer. I said, I will believe their experience every time. When people say they have done it, I believe their experience.
Oh, okay. So you had a question for me. Go ahead.
So the question is, you have said that sexuality has nothing to do with love. Do you really believe that sexuality has nothing to do with it? It's not an expression of love.
Well, I don't know about sexuality, but I do know that sex is not love.
I didn't say it was love. I said has nothing to do with. You said when a man and a woman is having sex in marriage, that they are not expressing love to one another.
They're not. No. 100% no.
Love.
No.
So it is just making.
All they're doing is seeking pleasure, and in some cases making babies. Okay. Because of time, I need to ask you a few more questions. Are you a Democrat or Republican?
I'm an independent.
Independent. And did you vote for the Great White Hope?
I did not. I didn't vote for either one of them.
Either one of what?
Either one of the president. I didn't vote for the president or the one who lost.
Either. Oh, you didn't. So you didn't vote for the president, Donald Trump?
I didn't vote for Donald Trump, but I didn't vote for Hillary Clinton either.
Did you vote for Obama?
I voted for Obama one time. I didn't vote for him the first time. I voted for him the second time.
And why not the second? Why not? Why did you not vote for him the first time, but yet the second time when you knew what he was all about?
I thought that was a better candidate. Remember, these are elections, so you have choices. I thought that was a better choice. The second time, I didn't think it was a better choice.
But he's such an evil person.
Why is he evil?
Because Satan is his daddy.
Why is Satan his daddy?
Because he has not been born again. But let me ask you this.
But how do you know he's not been born again?
Do you agree that...
How does that not violate the Bible's principle on judging? And how do you know when a man says he's born again, and he says he's born again, and it said he believed in Jesus Christ, you said he's not been born again? How is that not judgment? Both those things.
By his action. And Obama was...
So it doesn't matter what anyone says. You know them better. You know them better than their own confession.
By his action, and Obama pushed homosexuality as though he has some good issue with it or something. He pushed LGBT. He is for abortion, even if the baby come out alive during abortion. And so you can't be for God and be for evil too. And Obama support everything that's evil. He also said that he is the first feminist president. He's a woman.
Okay, so do you know that the lowest rate of abortion ever recorded in American history was while Obama was president?
And he still was for it, though, to make it evil. Do you support abortion?
No, I told you I don't. And I don't think he supports abortion.
No, he does.
No, he supported.
He loved abortion. When he was senator of Illinois.
I just told you the lowest rate ever.
I don't know if that's true or not, but I do know that.
To do with your reality?
I know that Obama, when he was senator.
It doesn't matter what the facts is. You didn't know that. And instead of stopping and thinking about it, you just moved on. You didn't know that, did you?
No, Obama supported, when he was senator of Illinois, He
Do you know
he
he doesn't
supported a
belong?
bill that, hold on a minute. He supported a bill that said if a baby should come out alive during a botched abortion, to call it infanticide or something, and to let the baby die on the medical table. He was the only senator in Illinois to support that bill at the time.
I hope
O-
that trope. That's not true.
Obama is an evil person.
And you and I are going to disagree
And
with.
so is Big Mama Michelle. What is a man? What is a man?
What do you mean? What is a man?
What is a man?
What do you mean? What is a man? I don't understand the question. It's very obvious what a man is.
No,
Right?
what is it?
I mean, it's a male is a guy with.
No, I didn't ask you what was a male. I know a male is a guy with body parts.
Okay, you're talking
Yeah.
about a man is somebody who
What?
assumes responsibility for his family and who stands up for his rights and values and beliefs, and don't let somebody like you bully him because you disagree with him.
What do you mean somebody like me?
Because you're bullying. Do you realize that in the course of this conversation, you call people evil, you call people wrong, and do you understand how absolutely small that is of you?
How is it small to call it what it is? It's either good or evil.
No, you decided.
No,
You don't know these people.
I know that they're in a fallen
When I
state
give
in
you a
any
fact when I give you a fact that's different, you just decided it's not true.
anybody who is in a fallen state. I'm
How
sorry?
small can you be?
What?
You are the problem with Christianity at this point, my friend.
What do you say? What now?
You're the problem with Christianity because people look at you and say, you're not interested in knowing me. You're not interested in deciding. Even if we disagree, you're not interested in that. You're only interested in calling people evil. You're only interested in calling them devils. You're only interested in doing those things.
But don't you agree? Do you agree?
Jesus, how is this lifting up Jesus?
Do you agree that there's only good? You're either good or
How
evil.
is this lifting up Jesus?
Do you agree that it's only?
I'm a Christian. How is this lifting up Jesus?
Why do you think you're a Christian?
Because I believe in Jesus Christ.
But you support.
Because I do what the Bible tells me to do. Because I believe in Jesus Christ. The only biblical realities of that. How is what you're doing Christian?
Because but all the thing you're doing is you can't support good and evil, and you're definitely in support of evil, so you can't support good. And if you're not of good, you of your father the devil. Wouldn't you agree?
My father isn't the devil.
Is it? Reverend, let me ask you in the few minutes we have together here, are you for the big, beautiful wall going up around the border?
The big, beautiful wall going out there. Actually, I want to get back to your other question. Can I get back to the racism question?
Yeah, we'll get back to that in a minute, but answer that for me.
Yeah, actually, it's a myth. I think that's the craziest thing in the world because there's not going to be a big, beautiful wall. There'll be eventually more fencing going up, and I mean, there'll be other things going up. But this whole thing seems to me kind of a political drama that is not worth my time thinking about at this point.
And so are you for the big, beautiful wall going up around the border?
There's no big, beautiful wall going up.
So you're not for it?
No, there's just not. I'm not for it or against it. It's not real.
So if when the president put the wall around the borders, are you for that?
It won't put the.
Why would you answer the question?
There are no funding for it. Even he doesn't say there's a wall. It's just political drama.
Why?
It is just the stupidest.
Whether it goes
conversation that's interesting is about
whether it goes up or not, are you for it? Do
no,
you want a wall around the border?
It's stupid.
You don't want one around the border?
We've got to stop talking about stupid stuff that has no import, that's not real. I don't talk about cartoons with grown folk. I don't talk about a wall that's not there with you.
Reverend Floyd, do you want a wall around the border?
It's a stupid reality. It doesn't matter whether I want it or not. It's not
Why
real.
are you running from that?
I'm not running from that.
Yeah, it's apparent to everyone you're running from that question.
There's no, first of all, there's only or there's no everybody here. So stop that. Secondary, I'm telling you the truth at this point.
Do you want the wall around the border?
I don't. It's not a real. It's not a real issue.
Amazing.
I refuse to be involved in a stupid issue. That's what's wrong with America right now. It's not a real issue.
Amazing. So let me ask this:
Republicans, everybody's using this thing. It's not a real issue.
You said that. I mean, illegals are coming to our country, right?
That's an interesting issue.
Illegal aliens are coming in and they're landing in the inner cities first. And so they're affecting black Americans first and foremost when it comes to job, crime. They're running blacks out of their communities. They're overcrowded at the schools. They're taking over the healthcare centers by having so many babies and stuff. Are you bothered that, does it bother you that illegal aliens affect black people first and foremost?
Okay, so a couple things about that. First of all, I don't realize your characterization, I think, is a bit overdrawn. Secondly, the fact that there are people, every country has to have its borders protected, and there are ways to do it, and they will find out how it's done. So I actually think that we're not going to agree with that, but we're actually going to say it's important that the border be protected, and somehow that's a real issue that Congress actually got together, negotiated, and came up with a decent deal, what I thought. That was a real issue.
Does it bother you that blacks are affected first and foremost by illegal aliens coming into the country?
I don't think blacks are affected first and foremost. That's where you and I would disagree.
Why don't you think so?
Because it's not true.
How do you know?
Because unlike you, I've actually lived in rural places where I know that illegal aliens, quote unquote, are the people who actually are who actually get our crops, and actually without them, then America would not work. And
so
I know that
when you say unlike me, you said I've not lived in the hood.
In rural America.
You said I have never lived there.
Have you lived in rural America?
I have, but why do you say I haven't? You said unlike me.
Where did you live in rural America?
South Central LA.
That's not rural America.
And also in Gary.
I'm not. No, that's
but
not.
But let me ask you this:
I lived in South Georgia with 3,000 people.
Let me ask you this:
immigrant council. That's what I mean.
There are more out here than there are in Alabama. Believe me. But let me ask you this: did you say that you disagree with me for calling the people of the Father State evil? Did you call me evil for disagreeing that they are evil?
I didn't say you were evil.
What did you say?
I just said, no, all I said is that you keep calling people evil, and I said you're what's wrong with Christianity, because quite frankly, people don't think that you want to get to know them, love them, and care for them. You just want to call people evil.
Do you believe there are some evil? Do you believe there are some evil people in the country?
I believe that evil exists.
And
I believe that Jesus Christ on Calvary died for all people, and it is not us who Christians should ever then look at somebody and say they're non-redemptive, or they're not going to heaven, or they're evil. I believe that what we do as a preacher is stand and say God loves you, and to say that God wants our best life for you. The first line of that is not looking at somebody and saying that Satan's their father.
Amazing.
Or saying all of those things.
But Satan is their father. But let me ask you this. Why do you say it's wrong to call Satan their father if they've not been born again?
You have no idea who those people are. And Satan is not their father. Biblically speaking, he's not. God created us all. People may choose, but that does not mean that Satan's their father. It is a bizarre statement on the face of it.
Amazing. Do you believe racism exists?
You and I are going to be close to agreement on this one, and I know it will shock you, that the notion of race is a made-up construct. The issue is right and wrong, and the issue is how we, in fact, help people who are treated badly or who are prejudiced. And that can take many different forms.
Let me restate the question. Do you believe...
Some of it is about color. Some of it is about all of those other things. But the reality is it's really about right and wrong.
Do you believe racism exists?
I just answered that.
No, you said something about race. I asked you about racism. And I'm asking you, do you believe racism exists?
The term racism is...
I didn't ask you about the term. I'm asking you, do you believe racism exists?
Okay, so if we're speaking English, it's really important to be clear. So the reality is that racism is based on race, and I told you that that's why I stopped and said, I don't think race exists.
I said racism. I didn't ask you about race.
Race does not exist.
Does racism exist?
Then therefore, racism, as we call it, is not the same.
So is there racism as we don't call it?
There is, right and wrong.
I mean, good and evil, no such thing as racism?
No, right and wrong. I mean, you can treat somebody wrongly on the basis of many things. On the basis of many things.
Amazing.
In fact, your trailer
But
just,
we know that race
you're disagreeing with
exists.
yourself now. Your trailer just said that you it is not on the basis of race. It's the basis of right and wrong. We're agreeing. I
But
know
you dodging my question though. But we know that race exists.
You're
But I'm
trying to
asking you about.
put words in my mouth.
We know that race exists, but I'm asking you about racism. And my final question before we have to run here: Do you believe that white supremacy exists?
Do I believe that white supremacy exists? I would say on that one, absolutely, because there are people who believe that white people are supreme, therefore white supremacy exists.
So you say racism doesn't exist,
No,
but
I
white
said-
supremacy
Did you
does
hear what I
exist.
just said in that there are people. I didn't say in that there are people who believe because of the color of my skin, which I believe that I'm better than you, and I'm more supreme than you. That would be called white supremacy.
There are black people who believe that they are smarter than white people, that they're the first on the earth, and
Wrong too.
are they black
And
supremacy?
they would be wrong, and they would be wrong too.
Are they
yes.
black supremacy?
They would be wrong too.
Are they
yes.
black supremacy though?
I just said yes.
Okay.
You can't take yes for an answer, can you?
And
I have no idea how to take for an answer something. You are so into trying to be oppositional. You cannot even have a conversation when someone agrees with you.
and my final question: Do you support Israel? Are you pro-Israel?
My pro-Israel. I have no idea what that means.
Do you support the Jews? Do you support the Jews?
Yeah, what that means is a whole different things.
Do you support
What that could mean is a whole bunch of stuff.
Do you support Israel?
I support Israel. I support any country's ability to do. Now, what that means policy-wise is obviously a whole bunch of stuff.
Do you support Israel over Palestine?
I support the idea that Palestinians are important, the Israelis are important, and the best way to have Israel exist as a nation is to find peace with the Palestinians.
They have already tried, but the Palestinians want to kill the Jews. Do you agree that the Palestinians want to kill the Jews? Hey, do you agree that the Palestinians want to kill? Do you agree the Palestinians?
In a day. Peace is not happening today.
Do you agree that the Palestinians want to kill the Jews?
I believe that there are some Palestinians that want to kill the people. I believe that there are factions with PLO, and those should be neutralized and those should be protected.
Amazing. And the last question.
Why is that amazing?
It's just amazing.
Why is that amazing? No, why is that amazing?
Because you're not answering my question.
I just answered your question.
You're like, do you hear yourself not answering the question? You try to add other words, or you try to go around it, or you try to talk over me. You try to go around it, you try to add different words, or you try to talk over me.
And you try to do the same thing with me. You're just not used to a guest pushing back on you.
What do you mean? They all push back.
Yeah, and they probably do.
Yeah, they do.
On that one, you're probably right on that one. I can't imagine that it's easy to be you in this profession.
No, it's easy being me. I love it. Reverend, thank you for coming on. I absolutely appreciate it.
Thank you, and it's been a stimulating conversation.
Are you going to invite me to the conference that you?
Yeah, I will send you the. And by the way, our conferences have conservatives and liberals there. We really work hard for that to happen.
Are you going to have me speak there?
I'm not having you speak there because speakers are already done.
But you can add me.
No, I can't do that.
No, you won't regret it.
Yeah, I bet I wouldn't. Okay. I will send you the link. All right.
All right. So thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
Shalom. Bye bye.
All right, buddy. Amazing.